Okay. Okay, good morning, everybody. We'll be starting as soon as everyone comes in. Welcome to Career Conversations. I am Jim Fergal with WorkNet DuPage. Okay. I think we'll start because of time. People will join in as they will. So good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Jim Fergal. I'm the facilitator of Career Conversations. That's our new name for the Job Club. We're going to be talking about career issues. And today, we're going to be talking about opportunities in manufacturing. I am the manager of Job Seeker and Veteran Services. Siobhan Morris and Jennifer Wigeman will be monitoring the chat room and the Q&A. They're also workshop facilitators. We are funded through Congress through the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, the WIOA Act. We do the virtual job club or career conversations twice a month on the second to last Fridays. We do offer job search workshops for candidates or clients who do qualify for the grant. And we do have grants up to $10,000 for people to retrain or upgrade their training. We do have a laid off workshop, layoff to launch. And this is where we'll talk about how you can receive grants up to $10,000, continue to receive unemployment and no need to pay it back. The only thing we ask is that you let us know when you get the job, the type of job, salary and benefits, so we can report back to Congress that these programs work. A little Zoom etiquette, comments can be made in the chat room. We are going to be using the Q&A today. I have questions already made up for our panelists. I will be the moderator. You can put questions in the Q&A. However, we are going to, because of time, the panelists are taking time out of their busy day. I will get to the questions at the end. And if the panelists can stay past, my goal is 10 o'clock. If they can stay past and answer any other questions, we'll do that. Okay. So here are our panelists today. We have Valerie Korpening with Walter Scheid Group, German company. I was in there for 9 years, Germany. Okay. Gwendolyn Eller, did I say your name right? Eller?
Eller? Correct.
Okay, with Chemring Energetic Devices, English, I believe, out of the UK. Danley Corepipe, I'm thinking US, right? And Paul Russo with Sterling Engineering. And I will be the moderator. So let's just get right into the questions here. What I'd like to do is have each of you just introduce yourself, your position, and then tell us a little bit about your company. And Gwen, I'll start with you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Gwen Aller. I'm the Senior Director of Human Resources at Chemring Energetic Devices. We're located at 2525 Curtis Street in Downers Grove. We are a manufacturer of pyrotechnic devices for military and aerospace applications. Things such as ejection seats on the F-18. We make separation devices for those. We make parts for the space programs. For instance, when a rocket launches, we make separation devices that make the booster rocket separate. It's a very interesting organization. We're very small, 150 employees. And because we work with government contracts, with the Missile Defense Agency, and with space, we have a lot of employment requirements that are unique to compared to other organizations.
Well, I'm sure there are. I've been with the Army for a while, so. Okay. Valerie, how about you? You have to turn on your mic.
Good morning. My name is Valerie Corpany, and I am the HR manager for a company called Walterscheid Inc. Woodridge, and we are located in Woodridge, Illinois. And Walterscheid Inc. Woodridge is a division of Walterscheid Powertrain Group, which is, as Jim mentioned, is a company that is headquartered in Germany. And Walterscheid Powertrain Group focuses on production of parts for the farming industry and for construction industry, as well as in some cases for the military. So here at the Woodridge location, we primarily produce drive shafts and clutches for the farming industry. So we have several companies like John Deere, Oshkosh. Those are our customers. We have about 150 employees here in Woodridge. Our sister company is in Rockford, and they have about the same amount of employees. So we are currently actively recruiting. So.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Dan, you're up next. You have to unmute. Oh, wait a second. Do I? Is there anyone else I have to ask to unmute? Okay, Paul, why don't you go next while Dan's trying to figure this out?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Hi, I'm Paul Russo. I'm with Sterling Engineering. I'm the Director of Recruiting and Employee Engagement at Sterling. We are located in Westchester, right off of 294. Sterling has, we're a 52-year-old company, actually. Been in business since 1969, and we provide really two major services. One, we are an engineering company that provides engineering outsource. Companies can outsource engineering work to us, mostly mechanical design, mechanical engineering type work that we do in-house. But primarily what we are, and where 85 to 90% of our revenue comes from, is we are a technical staffing company. We have about 525, 530 employees working for us, primarily in Chicago and Milwaukee area, but also in 26 different states as well. We provide, as the name suggests, it's engineering and very skilled labor technical staffing needs on both a contract or temporary type basis as well as a full-time basis. And just like Valerie, and I'm assuming Gwen, we are actively hiring. We have well over, probably in the neighborhood of about 325 to 330 jobs that we're actively recruiting on right now.
Wow, you know, and that's encouraging to hear that from all of you, because, you know, the news is so negative, telling us how bad the economy is, but we've been seeing here at WorkNet, so many jobs coming in. Last Friday, we had 50 come in alone. So that's encouraging for people who are looking for their next position. Let me just check with Dan. Okay. While Dan is working on that, Valerie, why don't you tell us, you know, I think of These dirty, nasty, greasy, oily shops. How do you think the industry has changed?
Well, as far as manufacturing is concerned in general, for one thing, our shop is not dirty or greasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on making sure that safety is our priority. So in doing so, in order to focus on safety, we certainly make sure that we run a clean shop. I think that the industry has changed quite a bit in regards to the perception of manufacturing jobs. At one point in time, I know when my father was working and so forth, manufacturing and blue collar jobs, that was what you do. You know, you would work at major manufacturing companies and retire there, you know, from there. That's no longer the case any longer. At one point, then it went to IT. You know, you had individuals that were just interested in white collar positions. And what has happened because of that is that we have had a void in when it comes to blue collar workers and the craft that is behind the skill level that we're looking for. So I think that now I'm hoping that we're starting to see more of a general push back to manufacturing, back to machinists, tool and die makers, maintenance, mechanics. Those skills are definitely needed.
Okay, that's cool. Dan, are you up and running? Your mic is still unmuted.
Okay, now I'm on the phone and it should be unmuted. You got me?
Yeah, got you now. Okay, so
sorry about that. It seemed to work when I got in here.
It's called Murphy's Law, right?
Always. So should I just do the introduction for myself? I'm sorry,
Sure.
I missed the first question.
Yeah, please.
My name's Dan Lee. I'm the plant manager at Core Pipe Products. We are a stainless steel manufacturer of fittings and flanges. Basically, what we make is any stainless steel parts that connect pieces of pipe together in an industrial piping system. So oil refineries, breweries, chemical plants. We actually just sent some parts over to Pfizer for the vaccine that they're producing. So anything where water or gas or liquid of any kind is running through, we're making the connection pieces for those pipes. We have a location here in Carroll Stream, about 70 employees, and then a location in Florida of about 30 to 40 employees.
Okay. And the question that I asked was, how has manufacturing changed from the old machine shop, greasy, dirty, to what's happening today that you see in today's manufacturing environment?
So we're kind of still under that old realm of the greasy, dirty place to an extent. We do have CNC equipment, so we bring in people with programming experience on one end of things for one of our products. On the other products, it's still the 15-step hydraulic machine, from cutting it to forming it to trimming it. All old equipment. We're starting to lean into robotics and AI and all that for it, but not enough where I think the work, the greasy oil stuff, it seems like it's always going to be there on our end of things. I may have a different answer 5-10 years from now, but right now it seems like we have a little bit of that still, but we're doing what we can to make the work easier on people and kind of keep up with the times. So
okay. Gwen, how about you?
I've seen dramatic changes in our environment over the past 10 years. Almost everything we used to do was by hand, and our parts are this big, very, very small. We do have some that might be a little bit larger and might weigh up to 25, 35 pounds, but most of them are very small and loaded with energetic powder. So the precision is critical. The amount of powder that goes in these parts is extremely small. People used to sit and under microscopes do that kind of assembly. We've automated so much, introduced robotics to where it's dramatically changed our business. We've also increased our machine shop and also have a lot of technology in there as well. So, and manufacturing technical positions are my most challenging positions to fill.
When you say technical, what do you mean by that? Manufacturing.
CNC machinists, inspectors that have very good GD&T skills, geometric tolerancing skills, can figure out the measurements and know, because our parts, if a pilot's ejecting from an F-18, our part cannot fail. So we inspect a lot of our parts at 100% and have very low tolerances. So we need some good experience in those technical areas in most of our positions.
Okay, thank you. And Paul, you're across the board here. What do you see happening?
Yeah, I would echo what a lot of other people are saying. I think the shift has definitely been on over the years that in manufacturing, and in particular on the shop floor, that the processes have become very advanced. The machinery is very sophisticated, complex. So these jobs, this dirty environment and still kind of this, that's not the case really with anymore. I mean, companies are embracing safety, and cleanliness. I mean, that is a top priority. You walk into most factories nowadays, I mean, they are extremely clean, and it doesn't seem like a quote manufacturing floor. So it's interesting. I think the perception was, oh, it's from a blue collar worker was, just come in and kind of do a repetitive thing day in, day out. That's really changing. Skills are in incredibly high demand. These are, they're in demand jobs because the skills are critical to do. So it's exciting to see some of this equipment, and the machinery that's out there is very advanced and advancing rapidly. So there's great career opportunities, I think, when you get into this, that can lead to, really good careers long term.
It's interesting that we're talking about technology, because I was talking with an employer, and they pretty much, you had to wear gloves and a suit for some of the things that are being manufactured. Yeah. Especially with technology and AI. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what are your current needs? And Paul, I'm going to start with you because you're across the board, and then we'll narrow it down to specific companies here.
Yeah. So again, being in the staffing world, and having been around for quite some time, we've got, like I said, we're recruiting on right now through about 320, 330 positions that we have. And the majority of which are in the Chicago market area. So that's really where we've, been for many years. So engineer, what that comprises, probably 50% of those jobs, I would say, are engineering level, meaning bachelor's degree and higher, primarily like mechanical, industrial manufacturing, electrical engineering, things like that. But then I would say 50% of those, maybe even a little bit more, are what we'll call, people with high school or associate's degrees level. We are extremely busy. I think Gwen mentioned this, CNC and machining is a huge area for us that we do a lot of work in. Maintenance, by and large, is in incredibly high demand. We do quite a bit of work with food companies in the Chicago area. There's obviously a lot of food manufacturing that goes on here in Chicago, and there's very high demand in that. So these are maintenance technicians that are repairing automated equipment, in some cases swapping out motors or troubleshooting PLCs on this equipment, to just more mechanical in nature, where you're fixing conveyor systems and things like that. But it varies too. We another huge area that we see high demand in is in the plastic molding area. So process technicians, and from machine operators, which is very sort of the entry level way in, all the way up to the senior process technicians, which is, you know, controlling the heat and the things, the various things in molds that help process the plastics. So those are probably the big areas. And again, it's across the board. There's quality control that comes in there. There's, you know, other positions too as well in things such as even, you know, the shipping and receiving and other production areas too. So.
Okay, thank you. Dan, how about you?
Yeah, so what we're looking for really on our end going forward, we're kind of looking for our next generation of people willing to kind of take on and learn kind of all about our production process. We've had a lot of employees here that have been here 25, 30 years, which is great. Shows that working here is, you know, it's a good place to work and people are comfortable here, feel they're treated well. At the same time, on our end, if few people were to leave tomorrow, or win the lottery or whatever, we'd kind of scramble a little bit. We've made some huge strides in cross-training people the last couple of years, and really just making sure kind of we expand everyone's potential within the area. But, you know, we're looking for the next set of people. We have a lot of custom equipment here that people become very uniquely qualified to be able to run once they do learn it, but it kind of takes learning, and it's not something outside of our CNC equipment, our custom stuff. It's going to be tough to learn. So it's someone willing to come in. They don't really necessarily need much of any technical background or anything, you know, CNC and maintenance, sure. But from the other end, it's just willingness to learn, willingness to commit to the company, and, you know, just kind of looking for a big picture, long-term people to replace, you know, down the line, 5-10 years from now, some of the employees we just have had such success with in our company.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because and I think Gwen talked about this as well. I know Elk Grove High School is working with some of the employers where the kids go to school half a day and then they're in the shops the other half. And we're probably, in my opinion, because I know the unions are hurting for people too, because they have so many retirements. So I think there's going to have to be more of a co-op between the schools and the companies. Valerie, what's on your plate? What do you have? What jobs are you looking at right now?
Well, we are currently recruiting for assemblers to put together the drive shafts, CNC machinist, shipping clerk, maintenance technicians, and the struggle that we're finding is finding maintenance mechanics that have the experience to repair CNCs. As far as CNC machinists are concerned, we don't necessarily need anyone that can program, because we have had success recruiting from trade schools as well, individuals that have graduated from CNC schools and bringing them in. But it's a very competitive field as well. So, and we are currently ramping up to open a third shift. And we are hoping to start that third shift in March. So our openings primarily right now are on second shift, and we're recruiting to start third shift.
Okay, thank you. And Gwen, how about you?
Right now, my openings, I'm looking for an automation engineer or an automation specialist, someone that has PLC programming, Allen Bradley, that kind of thing. We are just starting a second shift. We've always been just one shift. I need a second shift CNC machinist specializing in mill operations. And then I am looking for 3 quality inspectors that have that strong GD&T. So those are our primary openings.
Okay. Now, the other thing that I noticed when I look at the job board sometimes, some of you have already said shipping and receiving, but do you also have accountants and admin assistants and HR generalists? Those positions are in manufacturing companies as well. Is that not true? Or It just
we
you have
currently
Many
do
everyone.
not.
openings. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
have
we-
any openings in that area right now, but yes, we have plenty of positions in those areas.
Yeah. I guess what I'm looking at is I don't want, I want to let people know that there's other areas than just accounting firms that you can look at, that all companies need accountants, IT, all companies are going to IT now, things like that.
Yeah, we
So,
have,
go
Jim,
ahead.
I'll just echo on that. I mean, even though primarily what we staff is all technical, I mean, we have, I think probably, a handful of jobs in accounting. We do get requests many times for everything from an HR generalist to an HR manager type of role. There's other positions more in the admin field. So for sure, manufacturing companies need help in those areas just as much as any other company does too. So IT is another huge area too, because so much of it is going in that direction. Anything from doing things on the web with selling product on the web to enhance different ways to enhance and draw people to it. So there's a lot of opportunities outside of just the manufacturing of the part that goes on with a company in manufacturing.
Okay. Gwen, can you talk about some of the, excuse me, technology? We hear about artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality. Do you see the trend in your industry or your company going that way, or has it already started?
It has started with the robots, and we added a new area to our business about 3 years ago. I think it's probably been open for 2 years, and that's where most of the robots are, and that's where we actually make energetic powder. So all of that is done behind 2 feet thick of concrete block wall, and it's all done using robots from outside of the room. So that kind of technology is big. Also, a lot of the weighing very minute amounts of that powder has become automated, and so that's also using the robots, and that I don't know if I'd go as far as calling it AI, but that type of skill level. So that type of automation requires some engineering, but it's a hands-on thing. It's very unique skill set.
Yeah, I know a lot of people fear robots coming in, but when you're talking about these powders that can explode and take out God knows what, or one of those boosters shoots off, yeah, there's jobs where robots have to do, and you got a 2-foot wall. And the perception is, I don't think that, I remember reading an article, robots don't necessarily replace, but have to work in conjunction with the humans. Dan, how about you? What do you see?
So we're starting to dig into it. Like I mentioned before, we've met with a few robotics companies, kind of walked them through our plant, see what works. We're in a bit of a tough spot as far as like the nature of our demand right now. We make a lot of custom parts, and we don't necessarily run like big 5,000 piece orders. We rarely, our jobs aren't usually more than 1,000 pieces at a time. Most cases, 1 to 200. So with that, it's not really as efficient for us at the moment to press a button and leave it for the day, because the work's going to get done quicker and it'll just be constant bouncing around. And so with that, maybe we're just slow to kind of embrace it, but the human factor is still going to be there for us seemingly for a while. I don't imagine a factory full of robots soon, but there have been some areas where we think some robotics, AI, automation would benefit us. But, just touch on this, we don't really expect it to necessarily replace any positions. Maybe it'll make couple people's jobs easier where they can do that and then set something up and then go cross train and work, on a different area where the robotic demand is or applicability just isn't there yet. So we're slowly looking into it, but not quite where we're just going to be a personless building anytime soon. So.
Yeah. sometimes with robots, you need humans to fix the robots.
Sure.
And I don't know. I also read, this was a couple of years ago, I think it was Volkswagen. The robots weren't moving quick enough and couldn't change direction as quickly as humans could, like if they had to redo a line. So I think that's interesting. You have to look at both sides of robotics and technology. Valerie, how about you? What do you see trend-wise in your industry, technology?
Yeah, we've invested in a couple of robots ourselves out on the plant floor. And it was a concern at first when we brought in the first robot as to if that would replace someone. But I think that as we brought on the second robot, people began to see that that wasn't the case. So we just simply had to reallocate the manpower and so forth, as opposed to lay anyone off. And we do need individuals here in order to kind of manage and oversee the robots to make sure that they're running effectively. We have a paint line in place that, of course, right now is manually. Individuals spray the parts and so forth with paint, and we were having issues with quality and with making sure that it was consistent. So we've recently invested in a more automated paint system. And that too, we will continue to need individuals to manage and to monitor and so forth. So it's much more accepting than what it once was.
Yeah, that's spray paint. I remember in college having a summer job where I had to learn how to spray paint, and that consistency, that's an art form almost to do that. Okay, let's see. Excuse me. So I got a couple questions in my head already. Years ago, I was at College DuPage, and they were talking with manufacturers, and they were finding that the younger people, their math skills were hurting, like how to read a ruler, decimals, converting decimals to fractions, and vice versa. What do you see today? Dan, I'll start with you. The kids coming out of college or high school, do they need these skills to be improved, or?
You know what? In certain areas of our operation, absolutely. We work with, I believe Glenn mentioned this before, tight tolerances. Our parts are very tight tolerances where they're using all sorts of measuring devices, micrometers, calipers, and the small tweaks to the machine they have to make really just have a huge effect on final dimensions of our parts. So entry level, first day on the job, no, it's more of a manual labor-based job where you're not getting involved with the measurements as much. But if someone were to advance in our company and they get into more complicated parts of our production, absolutely math skills are necessary. But again, the majority of people we have working on that are our 20, 30-year guys. But we are starting to cross-train, and it seems to be people are picking up on math right away. But it's definitely very, very important in our operation.
Okay. Valerie, how about you?
Yes, the same with what Dan had just mentioned. I echo what he said. It's extremely important. I mean, we do have, digital calipers and so forth, but they need to be able to understand and comprehend what it is that they're saying and how that relates to the measurement of the parts and so forth. We're also finding that we need to make sure individuals understand blueprints and so forth as well.
Okay. Paul, how about you?
Very similar to what Dan and Valerie said. I think the demand is there, and the skills are the skills are required, right? To have a basic understanding of decimals and again things like reading a ruler and things like that. But companies can work, and again, it kind of varies on the level of the position. But I think the bigger problem or the bigger issue is just kind of understanding what it all means. So, can you look at a print and understand why, what does a tolerance mean? If it's plus or minus this, what really does that mean? And what's the effect of that as it starts to happen? Companies are willing to learn and teach people that and work with them on that for sure. I mean, if you don't know, but it's starting to just comprehend what that is in the bigger picture, I think is the challenge, so we hear it a lot with engineers that come out of school. The mechanical engineer that comes out of school, they can design a really great looking piece of equipment or part or something, but they've never seen how it actually goes into the actual, whatever it is, machine or component they're making. So they don't understand how it has to relate and fit all together. And that's very engineering talk, but it goes down to the quality control technician that's on the floor to start to understand, hey, why is it this way? What does that mean? And what's the effect if it's, out of tolerance or, the importance of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had a tool and die maker in my workshops who found just a little, the mold was off just a little, and had they processed it, there would have been millions of dollars out the window had he not caught that. So,
I think the one thing that is encouraging is the schools, I think, have received the message from the manufacturing companies, from the junior colleges all the way into high school, even into sort of the elementary education, the 7th, 8th grade, junior high type things, to really start to, there seems to be a stronger trend to push back and teach, focus on math, really the STEM education that a lot of the schools are pushing, which is really encouraging to see that there is, because I think there was a gap in that for a long time that was there, and it seems to be there seems to be a strong push back to that, which is helping.
Okay, let's talk about the hiring process. Gwen, I'll start with you. How do you recruit for positions? What methods do you use? Do you use an ATS, and how important are referrals to your process?
40% of our hiring last year was employee referrals.
Okay.
We post on all the local job boards, Indeed, Career Builder, all of them. We definitely post on the state's, I don't know why I can't remember what it's called, but the
Illinois
job board.
Yeah.
I think we're negligent in sending things directly to WorkNet page, but we should be sending them there. We post them on our website. It's not that, because we're part of a global organization, it's not always easy for people to find the Downers Grove openings. So yeah, that's how we post. So
I know when I put your careers page, it says UK in the URL, but they do have Downers Grove locations.
you have to drill down. It's not easy.
No, that's true.
And we do not use an automated applicant tracking system. Any resumes received are read by a human person that actually reads. A lot of those ATS systems will screen for certain words or certain phrases. And we feel that we find better people when we actually read them ourselves.
Thank you.
And we love to hire veterans, because veterans are very passionate about the kind of work we do, because we make parts that save the veterans' lives out in the field. So we love veterans.
Good. Let's see. Dan, how about you?
Yeah, we've kind of run the gamut. It depends on the position, but I mean, we've had job posting responses, a lot of employee referrals. We have pretty regularly relatives, friends that, want to come work for us. We'll usually give anyone a shot like that. We work with temp agencies a lot, where they will bring in a person and they'll be here for an extended period of time. And in a lot of cases, we'll bring in the full time after that. Our interview process and our hiring process, again, it depends on the position. Maintenance CNC work, where we hope they have a technical background coming in. The managers of those departments usually want to meet with the person. And it's really just, kind of walking by our machines. For maintenance end, the machines left to fix. the CNC equipment, obviously. They might quiz them a little bit just on the technical end of things, make sure they kind of know enough about our machinery that'll help them, or that'll help us rather, hiring them on. Positions on the plant floor, we usually, if we're doing it through the temp agency, we'll just bring them in. We're starting to try to maybe get an interview in a little bit more, just to kind of give the person the direction that we hope for our future hires going forward. Like I mentioned before, looking for the next generation. So we're starting to interview those positions a little bit more. As far as office personnel, I'm not involved, like the accounting, HR, et cetera. I'm not as involved with those interviews, but I do believe usually in those cases it's job posting leading to few interviews with the appropriate department leads.
Okay. And Valerie, how about you?
Yeah, we recruit with the job boards and so forth. We do have, we generally post it on our own company website, and Indeed generally pulls from that, and it flows to Indeed. We utilize temporary agencies quite a bit as well. We've recently implemented a sign-on bonus, $1,000 sign-on bonus for individuals that stay with us for a year. And so we've also have a $500 employee referral bonus as well.
Okay, thank you. These are all things I recommend people, job seekers, is the importance of knowing people, the referrals, and to ask about the employee referral programs. Paul, how about you? You're kind of a little different than
Yeah, a little bit. I
others.
mean, so as a recruiting firm, we use a lot of different methods, and we have obviously upwards of 30 full-time recruiters working in on a variety of different positions. So the hiring we use a lot of different methods to find people. We too rely heavily on referrals. That's a major area for us. We're offering same thing, up to $1,000 for referrals for good engineers or technicians in our business too. So that's been really helpful for us. We do see that good people know good people, which is what we always say. So that's worked real good. As far as hiring process, it really varies because we work with a variety of different companies. So I've seen everything from they'll start people off a resume and just say, come on in, to some are much more in depth. Some have tests that they do, whether they're a technical test or maybe a personality test that they do, a Wonderlic or a Ramsey type test that they've employed. And then as far as, again, our process is typically, as recruiters, we're filtering through and finding the right person for that company. Our benefit is to a client is obviously to save them time and money, find them the right candidate right ahead of time. So we're doing all that pre-screening work, presenting that to the client, and then they take that interview process from there to move it. So again, interviewing in today's world can mean virtual interviews first, Zoom calls, but for the most part, if it's a job on the shop floor, you're going to want to, the client is going to want to interview that person in person, as well as I think the candidate is going to want to see the shop floor and kind of do that and get a taste for it. So sometimes it's usually a two-step process. Do the Zoom call, schedule an on-site where it's at, and if it's good, then go forward from there.
Okay. One last comment, because several of you mentioned this. I've always perceived temporary positions or contract positions as hands-on interviewing. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's definitely been proven. Sometimes we've had employees through temp agencies come have their experience here be as short as they get a tour and they ask to go grab their lunch from the car and they just take off and leave. So in those cases, it's been a lot better to, have it through the temp agency rather than us go through the whole hiring process on our end. So definitely it's a good on the job interview. So.
Okay. Anyone else wish to comment on that?
CED does not do a lot. Actually, we do nothing with temps.
Okay.
As our kind of work, we have, all employees have to pass an ATF background check.
Mm.
And that is very long and intense process. So it makes it difficult on a temporary basis.
Okay.
Yeah, we do that. We utilize temporaries. And a lot of times on their first day, I always let them know this is not a day labor. Our intent is to convert you full time. So this opportunity that you have an opportunity to just determine if this is the company where you like to land. And we have an opportunity to observe your performance as well. So it's definitely an on-site interview, that's for sure.
Okay. I'm going to take, I've got 3 questions right now for the panel. This is kind of a long one, but just spare me out. What is your company's plan on Industry 4.0? How can one help in modernizing the manufacturing, as our background is in industry IoT, Internet of Things, if we are not in the manufacturing technician, engineering, or CNC areas? Do you get that, or you want me to repeat that? What is the company's plan on Industry 4.0? How can one help in modernizing the manufacturing, as our background is in industry, Internet of Things, if we are not in the manufacturing or as a manufacturing technician, mechanical engineering, or CNC areas? Huh. Anyone want to take a swing at that one? I'm not sure what that person meant there.
If I understand correctly, I think our company might be sort of ideal for a position like that. So if I understand correct, it's really, if you don't have a background as a maintenance technician or mechanical engineering or CNC, where do you find yourself in manufacturing, if I understand that correctly?
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, in ours, it's really just, you know, we'll bring you on board, and, you know, certain positions we have here, it's just a matter of coming in and learning and just embracing it and giving someone a shot and seeing if it works out, if they, you know, enjoy the work they'd be doing here. So, I mean, we're kind of willing to just bring in people on that, because it's still sort of the nature of our operation.
Okay.
That I'll just say definite demand in that area too. That it sounds to me like you said, Dan, it seems like this individual's probably more on the, you know, not on the shop floor, not doing the day-to-day type work, but with enhancements, whether that's you know, from to make the company more profitable and suggest different improvements. That is a need that's definitely in demand. It's just not a shop floor type position. So there is demand for that across the board. I think that's what most companies in manufacturing are starting to move to and go to. It's not a process that happens overnight. So definitely, you know, there are, I think every company's kind of looking forward to that. And it's case by case scenario as to where the company's at and what they're looking to, you know, what their future plans are with it. So.
While we're talking about that, how important does attitude play in the, you know, people who are coming into manufacturing that don't have the background, or even those who are in manufacturing?
Oh, it's huge. I think that's the thing I would probably stress the most is, in today's world, you know, companies are, there's opportunities there. And so many times if coming in with the right attitude, the companies are willing to work with you if your skills are short in one area, or, hey, you know, they seem to be really good in this area, but maybe a little bit there. But if they've got the right attitude, kind of this, hey, give me a shot, I'm willing to work and roll up my sleeves and do it. That's the attitude I would say most companies are definitely looking for. You can overcome a lot of that just with the right attitude. And not only the attitude that you show in the job interview, but then it's the on the job attitude. Once you get the job, you'd be amazed, Jim, you know, it's things like, are you there on time? Are you calling in sick? I mean, all those little things start to add up. And if you just can do what seems very simple, right? get to work on time, not have absences, all that. I get it, things come up, here and there, but and just kind of embrace it, work together with people. They're going to keep you. They're going to see that. They're going to say, this person is someone we want on the team, and you will advance with the company. That is a huge part of it that, again, I can't stress enough.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to echo what Paul said, that is such a huge thing for us. I mean, one of the things that I see that cause attrition the most in our company is attendance. Individuals that rack up attendance points because they're not here on time, or they call in sick and they're not really sick, so they don't have a doctor's note to support that absence. And work ethic, strong work ethic is the key. And, if you go in there and you may not necessarily know everything about what you're doing, but you're willing to learn, you're here every day, you show a passion, an energy for it, it'll go a long, long way.
Yeah. That's what I told both my sons when they started jobs is get there ahead of time. Don't sit around, ask to help. And they've all been promoted. Both of them have been promoted because of it, or got better jobs. So, okay, let's take the next one. Do the representatives also see a need for professional support folks, i.e. continuous improvement, operations excellent, lean and value analysis, value engineering skills, or even contract efficiency reviews? So, Gwen, you got
We have those positions. I don't have any openings right now in those areas, but we've come a long way in the last several years with our modernization. So, great place to be, and best wishes in that area. I don't have anything right now myself.
Okay. Anyone else? Or?
Yeah, on our end, we used to not focus on that as much as we should have, but about 2 years ago, we brought in a new VP whose background was sort of in that realm. He was a consultant that we ended up hiring, and honestly, just having someone on board focusing on the proactive aspects of, driving our company forward. And, a lot of people here might be just bogged down with their day-to-day, getting the company by without having the time to focus on, advancing us. So it's relatively new to us with this new VP we brought on to focus on those rounds, but we're definitely seeing the benefits of it. So it's huge.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I would say CI and, lean operational excellence for sure are areas that most companies obviously are going to invest in. I would say that was probably paused briefly when through some of the COVID things, where I think companies just said, look, we've got to, adjust a little bit here. But coming out of it, I mean, there's strong growth in manufacturing right now. And in this case, engineering. I mean, we're forecasting, I just was in another webinar the other day. Engineering is forecasting 16% growth this year for job increase, which is fantastic to see. I mean, the GDP is all pointing in an upward trend right now, forecasting for 2021, which is good for jobs. And so what'll happen is, what that means is companies are going to start to invest in the infrastructure. That means new equipment, new lines, and therefore continuous improvement and the ops excellence, things like that too. So I can tell you right now, we've got, I'm looking for value engineers. I've got a CI improvement engineer right now, and a handful of manufacturing engineers too. So absolutely, companies are looking to invest in that area too.
Okay. Valerie, you have any comment on that, or?
Yeah, continuous improvement and lean manufacturing, those are definitely tools that we are currently working with. We don't have any openings right now in that area, but as we continue to add more robots to our plant floor, we're definitely looking for more technicians in that area as well.
Okay. I'm going to bring up this last question. I know you all have work to do, and I'm going to put some how they can find jobs up here as well. Do your companies see value in candidates having Six Sigma Green Belt experience? What do you think on that?
Similar to the question before, traditionally we hadn't focused on it as much, but I think it's something we'll be really leaning into going forward in the next couple of years.
Okay. Let's see here. So this is our panel. We are putting a PDF in. Valerie, you can go to their applicant pool, their website there, Walter Sheed Powertrain Group. Chemring is chemring.co.uk jobs, but you have to drill down, as Gwen said. Dan, you have careers at Core Pipe, and then Sterling, because they have such a wide range, just go to sterlingengineering.com. This is the code for today for everyone. We'll put it in the chat room. This is for your counselors. If you have counselors, let them know. CCMFG121. And coming up, we have February 12th, Opportunities in Healthcare. February 29th, Behind the Door, the application hiring process. 12 is the achievement-based resume. The 26th, we have Opportunities in Information Technology. And the 30th, Opportunities in Transportation Logistics. So that's what we have coming up. Panelists, I want to thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it. I think some of the takeaways are the importance of networking, connections, referrals, looking at the trends that are coming up, the technology coming into the workplace, and having a great attitude. So I appreciate everyone being here. All righty.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you for
Thank
the
you
invitation.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Okay. And all the job seekers, when you, if you are with our program, or if you're new, please go to worknet2page.org and sign up for our layoff to launch workshop Tuesdays at 9:30. Those of you who do have or are working with us, again, let us know when you have the job. It's always encouraging. We had 2 jobs, 2 people get jobs yesterday, nice positions as well. It helps us to encourage others. And also it helps Congress, you know, when we report back to Congress, it keeps the program funded. And our metrics, if you will, is 70% of the people who come through the program have to get jobs in order for us to keep the grant. In my 25 years here, we've always made that. We also made the 80% of people get jobs. We get incentive monies to serve more of the public when we hit 80%. So we are serving more people today because of the people who came before you who let us know that they got jobs. So let's see here. I'm hoping that everything is in the chat room. Any questions or comments before I end the discussion? Okay, I think we're good then.